Has the multiplayer program killed basically every other mode in this game other than standard ranked? The only reason why I bring up this question is it sort of seems like there isn't necessarily a need to play anything else, which is very, very odd. Essentially, the game here at this point, being in June, can be broken down basically into two things: offline and online. That is it. It's either a program, conquest, or you're playing the multiplayer program. And I really don't know why. But we're trying to take a deeper dive here on this Monday and see everything. So if you like more of these discussion videos, leave a like down below. Subscribe so you don't miss any more content. And subscribe to the Twitch also down below because we'll be playing some baseball this week. We're still working on the schedule because every time I said it, something else has to come up. It's fantastic. So with all that, let's just jump into this and dive a little deeper and see if they really killed basically everything. Now, ultimately, I kind of want to sort of work ourselves backwards from this because this is such an interesting, I don't want to say like interesting development, but it is very much a different style of things. And the reason it's an interesting style of things is because, well, the short answer of it is it bad to sort of combine everything into one so you're not scattered? Short answer, yes. But here's the problem. The problem here is when you look at like this, it just feeds you into the multiplayer program, which is 15 days here. I haven't touched it because I haven't played online, but we're probably going to do that after I record this for a little bit and stream a little bit. Who knows? But when you hear, when it's just like this, one, I get it. It's the idea of like, we don't necessarily want everything to play in separate increments, which is fine. I guess realistically, if you want to be like, well, Bob Feller and Luis Robert here could be event rewards, or could Ian Happ and Manny Machado. They could be just straight up rewards too, but they've condensed it into this. Now, the interesting portion of this, I would say, is this right here, this BR Rewind Pack. And the reason why this is so interesting is these cards, once they kind of come up here, going from like very high value, let's just see, they plummet in the market. These things come to earth so incredibly fast. He's only 15K on a buy now, 12 on a sell. If you put in a buy order, same thing. And they're probably going to drop even more. I mean, Jimmy Rollins was down to 5 at one point. Andy Pettit was down to 5 at the end of these things as people get closer and closer. And mind you, these 3 cards right here are insanely valuable, especially these 2, because of the awards portion of this. Same thing with the standard. All these cards right here are so incredibly valuable that you're getting them for dirt cheap. And even the most interesting part of this, I would say, is this right here, are these, because even these crash. They come back down to earth, mind you, the minute they're done. It's insanity. Now, granted, on the one hand, I will always be a proponent of essentially working to make things easier to get in a sense. And the only reason why I say like easier to get in a sense is hypothetically, in the grand scheme of things here, if you're doing your program and let's say you get to World Series, because World Series is only 800. Let's say you get to World Series. Okay? With this is just the way it goes, right? Let's say you get to World Series, and let's just say hypothetically you pick, I don't know which one's better. Let's say you pick Pedro. You pick Pedro, and you're like, I'm going to sell him. I want the 73,000 stubs. And then when you get to the higher one, you pick up George Springer because you can't sell him. You're like, hey, I need an outfielder right now. Let's say you don't need a pitcher once you get to that point. You can get him at that 1,000 level. He's unsellable. And then you can come back and get this one. It plays like how events used to, where it was like if you got one of them, you could just sell it off, recoup the next one, and not really worry about it. So you, in one way, it's making the sort of flipping and coming back to it later aspect a little bit easier for even higher end rewards. Now, the only issue is, I guess, argumentatively, if you want to go down this route, is the best players sometimes don't necessarily get the best cards for a longer period of time. I think 1 month to get it for free if you're a lesser player to pick one up is fine. I don't think these rewards have necessarily been all that stellar. I would say this is a step up from whatever this amalgamation was. So it's been a step up. It kind of sucks that like Martin was needed for an event thing. I mean, these two guys just hit the bottom of the crater. So a month later to get the old rewards, I don't think's truly horrid. I will say it kind of makes, I don't want to say it waters down the cards in the market, but in a weird way it does. It reminds me of like the old way of when they used to do the BR program before last year when it was no sell, and it made people upset when they did go to no sell. It's one of my biggest rated videos when I was making the comment of it doesn't make sense to lock them in because now you're basically taking away the initiative to be like, hey, we want new cards because it's so hard to go 12-0, 10-0, whatever it is. But again, it's now in a pack. I mean, the flawless 10-0s are here, and they're not that expensive. Hilariously enough, in terms of twos, they are not that expensive. I mean, heck, these guys are going to fall to even lower levels as time goes on in the next 15 days. It's wild, you know. It's interesting to see how this whole thing is gone. But back to the original thing at hand. What is this? The only thing you get is if you get 10 wins in a row or 10 wins in an entry before you lose. So essentially, you're going 10-1, right? It's BR, but it's your teams. You can get an 85 to 87 diamond, which I don't know if that's entirely. Granted, it is a free entry, but I mean, here's the question I would ask you. Oh, sorry, that's min price. I didn't want min price. I wanted this. So 85 to 87. That is what you can get, right? An 85 to 87 live series card. Now, how many is that? Well, let's take a look. It's 2 pages worth of guys going from Ellie De La Cruz here at an 86 to, on the low end here, Andres Munoz, it looks like. So 2 pages worth of guys, and I don't think there's an 87 diamond. At least, there is. The highest is an 86. So it's not exactly like we're setting the world on fire. I guess Juan Soto's the most expensive because he was a little bit higher. Now he's come down to an 86 and he's 18K. But in the grand scheme of things, you're only going plus what? 3K, 4K, probably an average of maybe 5 or 5K. And that's what the outlier here. Here's what happened, in my opinion. Diamond Quest kind of killed the event. And I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, or it was the idea of they wanted something different because people Diamond Quest to me ultimately has become the double-edged sword. And the reason why I say it's become a double-edged sword is it's one of those bits for me where I kind of question what the validity of it was to begin with, and I wonder what it's evolved into. The reason why I say this is I kind of look at this stuff, and I guess the idea here is, where do people want to play? Do people rather play an event to get 2 cards, or they rather play against the computer to get 2 cards and have an unlimited resource to get things? Ultimately, that's what BR was for a while. It's kind of what events was for a while, too. It was, you play it, you play enough games, you might get something else out of it, but you get 2 event cards that you could ultimately flip and then get 1 back. This feels like it's supposed to be the next step for offline players, because now you're only playing the computer and it doesn't eliminate people who just want to play offline to get good, fun rewards that they can use to get bigger collections and to get more cards along the way. Now, again, is that inherently bad? No, it 1000%. I am here for it. I am a fan of allowing people the opportunity to get things, to build upon things, to create a structure for them to make the best teams that they want across the board. I will be the first to raise my hand and say that is what it should be. Everyone should have a chance to spin the wheel, to get a pack, have a chance to get the good card, and ultimately have a chance to get these bigger collections done in an easier format. And ultimately, it seems like SDS is sort of understanding the logic here. And I understand that there is this weird sector of people, and I'm probably the opposite of it, who say, like, hey, just keep running Diamond Quest. The only reason why I say I wouldn't keep running Diamond Quest is, to me, Diamond Quest has a tendency to get very repetitive very fast. And also, I'm not the biggest fan of the Showdown method at all. I've never liked Showdown, even when it came out 5 years ago. I don't like that notion. I'd much rather this be more Conquest-esque than Showdown meets Conquest meets events kind of thing. And all this, because I've had maps when I've been doing this on my own where it just feels like I'm every square is the same challenge over and over again. And mind you, I understand that they kind of want every square to have an action or something, but I sort of question the notion of, like, I roll a 6 and sometimes half of it requires either a boss, a moment challenge. Mind you, all this is Showdown. So I kind of wonder, why in God's green earth am I getting 3 event squares at once? And mind you, I fill up the whole damn board because I want everything I possibly can. I want everything I can possibly get. So I'm going to fill it all up. And it just feels like there's an action sequence every damn time. Mind you, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But I wish it was a little bit quicker. To be fair, because in terms of, like, event games, if that's what this is supposed to be, you can get through a good run in events. You could probably get through 10 games to get the reward in events and BR what? I mean, maybe the same time, about an hour, hour and a half, sort of depending. But when it's just, it feels like the momentum stops more in Diamond Quest than it is anywhere else. Now, are the rewards bad? No, they're absolutely not bad. They are, at the very least, free effing stubs. You know, you're getting stubs along the way here. Like, if you were to grind some of these things, mind you, this one right here in particular is still 30K if you get both of them and you just sell them. You're getting 30K stubs. This one, again, I'm going, hell, whatever. If you only get one, you get like one pair and you have to buy the other pair, or 3 out of 4. That's not terrible, right? Because some of these cards go for so much and all of that it adds up. It's not worth it, but it's like what we lost versus what we now have. And in this, you're not facing people. You're facing the computer, which is a totally different thing. And I think that's part of the reason why, if you ever play like some of the multiplayer stuff, or you play with co-op, it feels sometimes like you're kind of flipping a coin on your teammate, whether he's really, really good or really, really bad. I'm not trying to put down what Diamond Quest is, but what it's taken away from seems to be a methodology or a questioning of, is 4 card rewards in an hour and a half, an hour 45, better or worse than what we ultimately lost in events? Because if you were to tell me by next year in 25 this is gone completely and it's just Diamond Quest, I would believe you. This is now kind of a useless mode. I don't necessarily know if they want to revamp it and put only event reward cards and then kind of do what they do with BR and just throw it into the program. I guess that's valid, but I like the idea of having basically a place to throw a team together within restrictions or not restrictions. I would say just leave it open, kind of like regular ranked is, so people can get their feet wet, jump into regular multiplayer, and then maybe feel more confident going into a weekend classic, playing to get to World Series, all this X, Y, and Z stuff. So they'll play more and play these higher things and ultimately make the game better and get into tournaments and stuff. It just seems to me that the way it's structured was a good thing. I'm not, mind you, I might not like Diamond Quest as much as somebody else, but I understand what the point of it is. I understand what the point of events was so many years ago. I just think taking away the incentive for people to try playing online and shifting it to computer offline play sometimes doesn't necessarily benefit the middling player, and ultimately is probably the reason why we keep talking when we heard the first time that majority of people are only in silver, which is like 400 to 500 rank. Again, I'm just sort of spitballing here, but I do find a lot of these things rather interesting, at least in the grand scope of things. Now, granted, this could very well not be the case. I could be totally wrong. Let me know down below. But that's just my thought. It just does feel like that eventually we're in a Thanos snap away. The events to something that's a shell of what it was, more so than it already is. But hey, maybe we'll see a resurgence, and this is just sort of them trying to tamper and play around with things and just try to make things a little more cohesive so that everyone can play to the way they want to play and not have to play the way the game forces them to play, which ultimately is a good thing. It's just growing pains along the way. And I do hope that this good momentum they've got going forward continues. But ultimately, we'll see, as I've said before, it's not so much this program or this event or this thing. I'm more concerned about the next one. And that's where I'll always be. So let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. Make sure you click the links down below to keep up to date on all the action. With all that being said, my name is Specs. I'll see you guys all next one.